What's up, guys?
What's happening, everyone? Time for a very special review.
Very special malt review.
From a very special distillery. This is a Gordon & MacPhail independent bottler of Longmorn. Now I'm going to hold it here for a few seconds so I can zoom in. This is Longmorn 1964, bottled by Gordon & MacPhail in 2012. Making it a 48-year-old Longmorn in a first fill sherry cask.
Nuts.
Bottled at 43%. If you look at the color on this thing, it is dark espresso coffee. It is just a rich dark color. First fill. Back in like 2010, 2011, 2012, even 2013, you were still able to pick up some of these legendary Longmorns, Glen Grants, Macallans, and Strathylas, more other bottlings too, from Gordon & MacPhail. Just were bottling these legendary casks at very inexpensive prices. I mean, they were ranging between like 250 pounds to like 500 pounds. And, you know, only the Macallans were really getting 500 pounds. And we're talking about 70s vintage Macallans, 40-year-old Macallans.
40-year-old, yeah,
and legit. Not like, oh, it's an independent bottler, it's not going to be good. These older Gordon & MacPhail bottlings were stunning, even better than some of the distillery bottlings.
Yeah, official bottlings.
Yeah. And you weren't really seeing too many super aged Longmorns or Glen Grants anyways.
Right.
Macallans you were. But from these distilleries, Gordon & MacPhail had access to these epic casks, selling them for so cheap, and such stunning quality whiskeys. And in these particular distilleries, especially when I think of Macallan, Longmorn, and Glen Grant, I think of whiskeys where you could pour them into a first fill sherry cask and they could sit there for 50 years and not get too oaky, not too woody. They just can handle aging really well.
Right.
Dalmore can handle aging really well too. Certain distilleries can handle aging really well, others can't. Some start getting kind of thrown off after 30 years. It just depends on the distillery. And of course it depends on the cask, first fill, second fill, but you could put this in a first fill and get such an epic whiskey. What's happening now with the Longmorns and what Gordon & MacPhail's doing with the Glen Grants and Longmorns, Mortlocks, and all those distilleries is they're putting them in fancy decanters now, not in regular bottles like this, putting them in fancy boxes and bottling at 50, 55, 60 years old at 7,000, 8,000 pounds. This now at auction goes for somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. But it's really worth it because, yeah, it's a ton of money. But if you compare to what they're putting out now, now the quality is less. The age is a little bit more. It doesn't matter once you're getting past 40 years old, whether it's 40, 50, 60 years old. But perhaps the age is a few years older, but the juice isn't as good.
Casks aren't as good.
Yeah, they already put out some of their best casks already back then, trying to create a name.
Sell it,
yeah, they had to sell it. And they're putting them in fancy decanters, justifying 7,000, 8,000 pounds, crazy amounts of money. Right. And like you were saying, they're just following Macallan's lead on this.
The Macallan marketing model.
Yeah, absolutely. So back then it was this bottle. It came in this plain old,
simple, plain.
Yeah.
Right.
Come in this little cardboard box. It's nothing.
It's all about the juice inside.
Yeah, it's 100% all about the juice. Again, 48 years old. 64 vintage.
First fill.
48 years, 43%. Absolutely. We've done one Glen Grant review from Gordon & MacPhail. I can't remember how old that one was. That one was a 58 vintage at like 52, 53 years old.
Something like
and then now we're doing this Longmorn from Gordon & MacPhail. We reference when we're talking about rich sherried whiskeys to these a lot, so it's nice to actually do a review. This has been breathing for a good minute.
Yeah, we'll always say like the aged Glen Grants, aged Longmorns, aged Macallans, like that. Talking about Gordon & MacPhail especially.
I mean, you're just getting hundreds of exotic woods come out right away. Extremely musky and perfumey.
Like I said before, aromatics party.
Absolutely.
Like overpriced candle party.
You're getting dates and prunes and rum raisins. That aged quality that you would expect with the dusty old bookstore and leather element is definitely there.
Oh my God, like old leather, books, furniture, like nutmeg and crazy exotic like Christmas spices.
Absolutely.
This is the definition of what I hope for, pray for in an aged Oloroso sherry bottle.
This is just absolutely stunning. It's like velvet. The richness of the cooked down rich dark red fruits. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like when Narbe says rich, almost like saying rich nose. Like as the aromas hit your nose, it's doing it like in the richest, most luxurious way. It's so hard to describe, and which just enhances the enjoyment aside from the actual smell.
I mean, you think of pipe tobacco that's very sweet. Yes. That's coming out. Rich vanilla. Just a beeswax. Just
massive beeswax.
Heavy honey.
And just on that note, like the pipe tobacco, just like shoving your head in a full walk-in humidor, like a perfectly seasoned full walk-in humidor with all the most expensive cigars and all the little differences.
The sweetness of a milk chocolate, but the richness of a dark chocolate just really there as well.
That's a perfect way to say it. Like sweet, but never too sweet. Because all that age.
Oh my goodness.
This is like, oh my God.
It's sherry perfection.
So different. When you get to that 40, 45, almost 50-year level, so different. So hard to explain.
Absolutely stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
Unreal.
You know, oh my God. Crazy.
Unreal. So far, the nose is like almost 95, 96 level.
Absolutely.
Like just to really specify how extraordinary this is.
And it's so rich where like, I don't know what an extra few ABVs would do. It's so stunning, thick and viscous on the nose as is. And obviously I don't know what the original ABV is. I mean, look at the color on it, number one.
Yeah.
And obviously when it's been aging for 48 years, the ABV is going to drop. But yeah, it noses like a 48% cask strength, right?
Right. No, and on that note, obviously 48 years, the 43% could very well be close to cask strength.
Could be, yes. Yes.
And it definitely is not nosing like a heavily, watered down 43%. It's nosing like cask strength.
Man, that is just unbelievable. The definition of rum raisins, right? When you say rum raisins, you're going to think of this Longmorn.
Yeah. I wish Haagen-Dazs would use this stuff. This is insane, man.
Also, like that, just like the color suggests notes of like coffee, but I'm thinking more like a coffee. Having coffee with like a brown sugared coffee cake.
Yeah, like sweeter coffee.
Yeah.
Not like espresso where it's like really bitter, but yeah, kind of like a sweet, almost like cream sweetened coffee. Yeah, like a coffee latte or like even a cappuccino. Nice and creamy.
Stunning.
Absolutely stunning. Could go on forever.
Could go on forever.
It's unbelievable.
You're almost, if you really dig in, you're almost starting it with some soy sauce for sure, but it's almost getting like almost a meaty element to it too, like ham. Definitely, if it's brown sugar ham, there you go. Christmas time.
Exactly, like honey baked ham.
Yeah.
Brown sugar glazed.
Ah.
It's definitely a Christmas whiskey for sure.
It's not. There's no surprising notes. It's like what do you expect from the world's best sherry casks? It's there. No surprising notes, right? You're not getting like, whoa, what's going on? I'm randomly getting like mango or something like that. It's not like that.
Right.
It's doing what sherry's supposed to do in its absolute best form.
Bingo.
Palate?
Palate. Oh my God, that's.
Now, obviously, the concern here becomes on the palate: is it too dry or not?
Right, too woody.
Yes.
48 years in first fill oak.
It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Because
Woo!
the mouth right now. Oh, you're getting that tea, exotic tea like Persian tea. Oh man,
Create like tea from every continent, like crazy like chai tea and stuff.
It's like you're having Persian dates with tea, something that I do every night actually. But so that's why I'm getting it, and then right away, the rum raisins start kicking in, and then the sweetness, luscious of the chocolates and caramels in the leather. And at first, the first 10 seconds, it wasn't oaky, but right now it's starting to get a little oaky, but not too much. It doesn't get to the point where it's too much. If you absolutely don't like oak in your whiskey, it's probably you're not going to be your favorite whiskey ever. But if you can handle some oak, it really just lets you know that it's been sitting in a first fill for years and years and years. Definitely not too oaky, but it is definitely oaky. Oh man!
If you like oak, there are a lot of oak heads out there.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny in general. As we've said before, I'm more sensitive to oak and dryness than Narbe on average. And last time I would say it's a little too oaky for me, but this time it's perfect. This time it's almost like I kind of expect it. I kind of welcome it because 48 years. And yeah, like it ends up leading to these exotic kind of drying teas, but then with all the other flavors, just like the nutmeg and the spice, it's like the most exotic tea ever.
It's weird with this whiskey. It really depends on what you've eaten, what you've drank.
It could be
Sometimes
could be everything.
Sometimes it gets to a point where like I wish it was a little less oaky, and sometimes it's like this is just perfect the way it is.
Right.
So it kind of depends.
So yeah,
it never gets to the point where like, oh, this whiskey's ruined because it's too oaky, and that's happened before with really, really aged whiskeys. It's even happened to us with super old Macallan bottlings.
Yeah.
It even happened to us once with a vintage Old Bowmore that goes for like $20,000.
So it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good point. Because obviously, when you have it a few times, depending on what you've eaten that day, whatever, it'll average out. And yeah, it's never been like almost a technical flaw thing where, no, I can't drink this. It's just right now, for some reason, the oak, the dryness is perfect.
Yeah, this is like, I'd say, with whiskeys this old, you guys have heard us say this before, the nose is just almost never matched on the palate. It's just because you get such a luscious, luxurious experience. So I'd say it's a 95. And the finish is forever going with like coffees, leather, oak, sandalwoods, exotic woods, and teas, and chocolate, and rum raisins, and
What's kind of cool is, like I was saying, we bumped the coffee up. On the nose, it was like kind of a sweeter, more creamier, like kind of milky coffee. But with that drying oak on the palate, now it's like a bitter, rich espresso, delicious.
Absolutely.
So having that difference, that change, I love that too. That's so cool.
Did you notice that on the nose where you were getting like those rich red fruits as well? Where on the palate, that's not really so much there, and that's I think because kind of the oak kind of does the oak and leather, tobacco, dark chocolate, and that espresso kind of take over. Where on the nose you're getting another layer of those delicious stewed fruits and even more so the rum raisins. Yeah. It's a stunning whiskey. It's an absolute stunning whiskey. I'd say if I had to individually grade it, I'd say it's
sort of grade.
Yeah, 95 on the nose, but like a 93 on the palate.
I feel like I don't want to offend it,
Yeah, no, but that's not offending it. That's 93 on the palate.
No, I know.
That's giving it insane props.
So good though. No,
yeah, and the nose is stunning. So for me, averaging it out, it becomes a 94, a solid 94, and I think that's definitely doing it justice. Because when I'm thinking 95, I'm thinking of some whiskeys that we've given 95 to. They're it's a whole other level. It's a next level, and once you get past like 90, it needs to be next level for each point, like really obvious. And once you get past 93,
forget about it.
Yeah, it needs to get extremely next level for each point.
A new dimension.
Yeah, each point needs to be a new dimension. Yeah. So Yeah, I'm not comfortable giving it a 95. It's a 94 for me.
And I would say, like on kind of on the benchmark point from a different review, I'd say it's a solid 94 benchmark. And I'd give it the same thing. Before, when it was a little too drying, I was always tempted to mark it down to like 93.
My previous 2 times I've had it,
Yeah.
it was a 93.
Right. And so whether it's the air mellowing it out or just whatever I've eaten today, whatever, but just today it's hitting me perfectly.
Today it's a 94.
Yeah, the nose is so extraordinary overall. It's a 94.
Yeah. And I think the first few times I had this, it was a 94. Then it dropped to a 93. Now it's a 94. So it's in that ballpark.
Right.
It's spectacular.
And that's human nature.
Would I pay £1,000 for this whiskey? Is it worth it? I don't remember this particular exact bottle. I know it's somewhere in the 1,000 to 1,500 pound range at auction. At 1,000, I say I definitely say it's worth it. Even at 1,500, I say it's worth it.
Same here.
Yeah.
Especially relative to other.
And we might get
bottles.
some criticism for saying that, saying like, "Oh, you guys are crazy. That's insane money. You need to have." I'm just saying relative to what's out there.
Relative to the current market.
Yeah, relative to the current market. I'm comparing it to other bottles. The current Macallan 25 goes for $1,700. I'd rate it an 89.
Yeah.
The old Macallan 25 was probably a 93.
Different story. Yeah.
Different story. Next level. Now it just doesn't even. Now it's like an 90 at best. It just doesn't. So just keeping it in perspective, like that's what's out there, what they're charging a lot of money for. So in that sense, at £1,000, it ends up being worth it. And look at the history of it. It's a 64 vintage at 48 years old. It's not just the deliciousness of it.
Find another 48-year-old whiskey for £1,000 or 1,500 pounds.
That's this quality. That shows
Good
you what
luck.
the essence of red sherries is. Yeah, old school.
1960s. Good luck.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely amazing. All right, you guys. We've said enough. Hope you guys liked the review. Please comment below. Please like and subscribe. Cheers.